Hey guys, I'm Chris Buck and a very warm welcome to Friday Fretworks, and this week, the Springer FireHawk.
God, great.
It's a cool guitar. Now, it's been a very long time since I've made a video dedicated to a new guitar. I kind of find the idea can look a little boastful or a little crass, so I tend to stay away from it. But I've had so many questions about this guitar, especially in the wake of our US run of tour dates, and especially my premiere guitar rig rundown that went live a few weeks ago that I shot in Nashville. I thought, honestly, it'd be easy just to make a video about this guitar. So to quote Cilla Black, what's your name? Where'd you come from? Now, first and foremost, the elephant in the room, it's not a Gibson FireBird. It's a Springer FireHawk, made by Michael Springer, or more accurately, Springer, in Lorraine, northeast France. Now, you may have seen a video I made a few weeks back, a few months ago at this point actually, taking a look at the Gibson FireBird and how I was a little late to the party, to say the least. And somewhat sacrilegiously, you could probably make a fairly convincing argument that I discovered the FireBird through its somewhat distant descendant, the FireHawk. I first came across Springer guitars maybe 18 months or so ago, I guess, on Instagram after being blown away by a photo of an all-black FireHawk that Michael had posted. The FireHawk undoubtedly being Michael's kind of homage, I guess, to the Gibson FireBird, albeit with a subtle twist here and there. Now, not only am I a big fan of all-black guitars, you may have noticed that in some of my choices in recent years, but I'm also a big fan of Scott Holliday from the band Rival Sons. I'm a big fan of the band, but Scott in particular I think is one of the most unique and innovative and inventive guitarists that we've heard in recent times, and his approach to tone and in particular guitar soundscaping has been a big influence on myself. Now, Scott obviously uses Cower guitars pretty heavily, but the last time I saw Rival Sons he was using a FireBird 7, which really piqued my interest, kind of simultaneously discovering that FireHawk. It very much felt like the universe was giving me a nudge in that direction, like a moth to a FireHawk. Started speaking to Michael on Instagram, and he was kind enough to come along to our Luxembourg tour date late last year. Even kind enough to bring along a FireHawk model with him, and then kinder again to actually let me take that guitar out on tour with me all across Europe over the next few months. Suffice to say, I was absolutely blown away by it. It's a truly superb guitar. Started subtly pestering Michael, maybe trying to plant the seed of maybe getting my own FireHawk at some point further down the line, and suffice to say, if I thought that original loaner FireHawk was good, I have fallen truly head over heels in love with mine. It is an astonishingly good guitar, and Michael is honestly nothing short of an absolute master craftsman. It's lightweight at just a hair over 8 pounds, it's resonant and incredibly loud and plugged, just to reference last week's episode of Friday Fretworks for a second. But plug it in, and thanks to its wiring and its Sunbird pickups, it's dynamic, expressive, soft and articulate with the volume rolled back, or in that FireBird way, raunchy, aggressive and biting if you really push it. I was really keen on it having a vibrola from the offset, but my experience of vibrolas in years gone by can be a little bit hit or miss in regard to a guitar maintaining its tuning, but having taken this guitar all across the US, having travelled and flown and planes, trains and automobiles, the full works, here, there and everywhere, it's been solid as a rock and its tuning has been impeccable. Seriously impressively so, actually. And unlike that original FireHawk that I had, and FireBird actually, its wiring is much more akin to a Les Paul, which, at least from a practical perspective when you're playing live, I find a little bit more intuitive. Speaking of live, this next clip is going to be taken from the Troubadour in Los Angeles using my FireHawk on a track called Terra Firma. Sounds a little bit like this. I guess there's not really a great deal more to say at this point. As I said, it's a fairly new guitar, and with the exception of those US dates and a handful of kind of festival appearances and sporadic tour dates around the UK this summer, I've not had that much chance to really use it in anger yet. But suffice to say, for our October and November tour, the FireHawk is definitely going to be one of the first guitars in the rack, which, speaking of those tour dates, we've been absolutely blown away by the response. So if you are thinking of coming to see us later in the year, please grab your tickets and put all the relevant links down in the description box. So we're really excited to get back out on the road with the FireHawk and start playing some new music, which, speaking of which, you're really not going to have to wait very long to hear. I'm going to play you out now on the old loaner FireHawk, which I'm sad to say is soon going to be heading back to France, but mine's not going anywhere anytime soon. Totally in love with it. Pull the relevant links as well for Springer guitars down in the description box. But as ever, I'm Chris Buck. This is Friday Fretworks. Please subscribe, hit the bell icon if you haven't already, and I shall see you next week for another episode. Cheers, guys. Take care. See you soon.